Well, our next pioneer comes from my part of the world, from Northern California. So very pleased to have you here, Annika Steiber. Annika leads the Silicon Valley Rendanheyi Research Center. She's world expert in innovation, has written extensively. Her most recent book is Leadership for a Digital Age, The Transformation of GE Appliances. And Annika is going to talk a little bit about how do you transfer the Rendanheyi model into standards? How do you make this a universal standard so companies have a sense of how they're progressing, whether they're achieving these results or not? So Annika, you're going to talk to us a little bit, and then you're going to invite your collaborator on stage, Rick Fernandez, and we'll have a chair for him too. But please.
Right, so thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor. I am director of the Silicon Valley Rendanheyi Center. I've been studying Rendanheyi for the last 8 years. And as I'm in Silicon Valley, I had to think big. So how do you scale? How do you globalize philosophy like Rendanheyi in an efficient way? And I found out 2 strategies. One is that I work on the research community, primarily on the open innovation field and ecosystem field, where I publish publications. And then the other strategy was to see if we can do the same thing as what's happening with the internet. If you remember, the internet spread globally by having the world collaborating around an internet protocol and standardize that. And in that way, we got the same, got the possibility to roll out internet all over the world. So my thought was, maybe we can do the same thing. So I want to start with showing a video of my vision. If we can play the video.
In today's rapidly evolving business world, companies are moving towards a new model of innovation. Co-creation, collaboration, and decentralized empowerment are the driving forces behind this shift. The Rendanheyi model, pioneered by Heyer, leads this change by fostering employee empowerment and cross-industry collaboration in a new corporate form called EMC. The ISO 50601 standard reflects these principles, helping organizations align their innovation strategy with their innovation ecosystems for continuous growth. By embracing ISO 56001, including an innovation ecosystem strategy, your organization can drive sustainable success. Start exploring the power of this transformative approach inspired by Heyer, and stay tuned for the forthcoming guidance on innovation ecosystem management.
So this was and is my vision. So as a consequence, I joined the ISO organization several years ago with the purpose of being actively being part of developing the new innovation management standard that was published successfully on September 10th this year, the first ever global innovation management standard. So over the last years, I've been adding knowledge about the Rendanheyi philosophy to the standard and to the global community of innovation experts. And it has been a huge success. We have changed the language to become much more of a modern company, much more like a Rendanheyi company. And we also have added concepts like the innovation ecosystem, similar to Heyer's EMC concept. This is just the beginning, however, because even if it's published, it's a product that's going to iteratively being updated over and over again and continuously be improved. So as that is happening, we are going to add more and more part of the Rendanheyi philosophy. We also decided, or I decided to develop a proposal for a whole new guidance standard that didn't exist in the ISO world, and that was management of innovation ecosystem. We all heard how important the EMC concept and ecosystem is today by our CEO. But there is no standard, there is no best practice, there is no guidance how to manage and orchestrate innovation ecosystem. So I proposed a new standard. We have had a huge interest from over 18 countries, experts from 18 countries involved giving feedback on the proposal. It's going to be presented on October 16th in Peru, Lima, to the global community of innovation experts. If that is going to be approved, it's going to be a new global benchmark for innovation management best practices, which is a huge achievement for us and for the field of innovation management. And with that, I would love to ask my colleague, the chair of the US TAG, Technical Committee 279, which is the one working on the new innovation standard, up on stage, Rick Fernandez.
Please, Rick, come on up. I'll get you a chair right here. Where's Rick? Here you go, right there.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to share a little bit of what we're doing. The U.S. team, as chair of the U.S. team, Annika is part of that, and we've been very successful, actually, in taking some of the concepts that come from Rendanheyi and including them in part of the definitions portion of the standards, as well as the new standard that just got published, which you mentioned, the 56001. And that could become a very, very important standard for the whole world, because like 9001, which there's millions of organizations that are certified to it, it will become the standard that all large companies will be looking for from their suppliers. So all of a sudden, the ecosystem becomes the standard, okay? Everybody in the ecosystem will be running with those same concepts. And what's interesting is that the standard isn't just a set of rules and a set of steps to take or a checklist, but rather it starts with a set of principles, just like Rendanheyi. It has 8 innovation principles. Okay? And we've done a crosswalk between the two of them, and there's a definite connection between the two. So Annika and I will be presenting in Peru in October the new proposal that we have. That proposal will be to create a new innovation ecosystem standard. Okay, so your information, your principles will now probably show up in there. We got to get approval from the rest of the 54 countries for it to go forward. But Annika has done a tremendous job in looking at other, getting feedback from other countries, so that now that we're presenting it, we basically, it's just a matter of, checking the box. Everybody's going to say yes. So probably by the beginning of next year, of 2025, we will be starting on the development of that new standard. I urge you, if you're interested, look at your own NSBs and join that effort. So with that, I just want to close and say thank you very much. First of all, Heyer and CEO, Chairman, for inviting me. I have really enjoyed being here. I've learned a lot, okay? Even though I know a lot, I learned a lot, and I love to learn. So I appreciate very much the time that you have given me here, and hope that we can align the two different principles and make it happen for the betterment of the world. Thank you.
So thank you very much. And before we kind of say formally thank you, I want to ask a question both to Rick and Annika. And I'm going to start with a little anecdote. Many years ago, somebody came to my office from a very large chemical company, and they said, we want to be more innovative, and here's our innovation plan. And and they spread across my desk 2 meters of spreadsheet with every stage, gate, and process, and so on. And I said, that's pretty much going to kill it. How do you square this balance of having kind of standards and yet having the space for innovation to flourish?
So I'm doing it practically today in a nuclear company And you can imagine nuclear company, how careful they are.
As
So-
a nuclear power.
Nuclear power,
Yes,
nuclear
all right.
power, thank you. So the standard is not a blueprint, a detailed blueprint. It's a number of principles, a number of elements. And what you do is that you go in and you make sure that those principles, that the leadership understand and buy into the new principles, exactly like the Rendanheyi principles. It's very important part of the culture change. And then you develop the practices. And part of the practices, you have those elements. So you need to have certain things in place in order to systematically be able to innovate as a company, continuously over and over and over again, both disruptive innovation and more continuous incremental innovation. So it's not a detailed description, it's more on a high level, and then it's a local adaptation for every company.
All right. I think we've heard that several times throughout the morning about how this does need to be adapted to every context, to every country. So I'd just like to say you're hearing from really the bleeding edge here, the people are out in the world pushing this forward, making Rendanheyi model global. So can we say thank you to Professor Lago, to Emanuele Quintarelli, to Annika Steiber. You know, I screw up on that name. And then to Rick Fernandez. Thank you so much for being here. Annika, Rick, Emanuele, Umberto, thank you.